What's up everyone? Today I'm doing Sneakymailer from HackTheBox. This box exploits a lot of automated processes that kind of happen behind the scenes. So we start this box off with nmap and we find a web server. We use SE Toolkit to fish all the users that we find, and we get a password for Paul Bird. We look through his emails and we find a password for a user who is meant to upload and install packages, and we deploy a malicious Python package that adds our SSH key to the user low, and we escalate to root with sudo pip. So let's get started. We start this box off with nmap sv sc oa, put it in the nmap directory and call it Sneakymailer, and the IP address is 10.10.10.197. I've already run this, so let's take a look at the output. And we can see we have quite a few ports open. FTP, SSH, SMTP. We have HTTP on port 80, and we see it's to sneakycorp.htb. So we'll add that to Etsy host. And we also see imap over SSL, and HTTP on port 8080. So let's check this out in Firefox. And we'll go to sneakycorp.htb. And we just kind of see like a project dashboard. And we have a team page. And this team page has a lot of emails listed, so we can just use cool to grab these. So if we look at man cool, we can see that there is an email address. We can just run cool on HTTP sneakycorp.htb/team.php, and we want the -e flag for include emails. And it's also going to include all the other words, so we'll just grep for the @ to make sure we grab all of the email addresses, and it grabs them. So we'll just pipe this to a file, and we'll just call this sneakyemails.txt. Go in here, clear out that first line. So now we have our email addresses, and we're good to go. So now what we can do is we can maybe target these users, and we'll target them with a phishing attack using SE Toolkit. So from here, we can run a social engineering attack, maybe like a phishing attack. And so we could do a mass mailer to email all those email addresses. And we'll do mass mailer, which is option 2. And we want to include the file we just made, so all of the emails get loaded in. And we called it sneakyemails.txt. And we want to use the relay that was on here. Port 25 is open. So we'll just do moo username blank blank, SMTP email server address is 10.10.10.197. Port number is 25. Yes, high priority. No, we don't want to attach a file. We'll set up a listener on port 80. And email subject will say important, click me. And we'll send this as plain text. And in the body of the message, we'll just put click me and a link to us and our IP address, which is 10.10.14.18. And we'll end the email. And this should go through and send an email address to every one of the people that are in the list. So I'll let this finish. So it looks like it's still going through some of the email addresses, but we did get a response, and it looks like it's a post and it includes some credentials. So I'm going to copy this. And we'll just put it in some notes. And we can see there's a password here. It looks to be URL encoded, so I'll just copy this, bring it over to burp, and we'll decode it as URL. And we'll see if this password works. Netcat to 10.10.10.197 on 143. And we can try to log in with the username, which is Paul Bird, and the password. And we get a login OK, so we're logged in. And after this, I'm useless at these commands, so we're just going to Google telnet imap commands, and we should get a list of commands on how to enumerate mailboxes and potentially see the mail that's in these. So we've got login, list of folders and mailboxes, so we can just list all levels with a list A. And we can see there's inbox, inbox trash, inbox sent, deleted items, and sent items. So we'll look into sent items. And if we wanted to get the status, like the number of messages, we can do a status, the name of the mailbox, and messages. I think like this. And we can see there's 2 messages. So if we wanted to look at these, we could select the mailbox with a select and the name. So a select and the name of the mailbox. And if we wanted to fetch the contents of emails, if we wanted to fetch the headers, we could do a fetch, probably put a star in there, or list all emails. So 1:***, so a fetch 1:***. And similar to how we could grab the headers, okay, so we can see the headers. We could probably grab the text body of the email by issuing the same command with text. Okay, and so we can see the emails. So I'm just gonna make a file called emails.txt. And we see hello low. Your current task is to install, test, and then erase every Python module you find in our PyPy service. And what else do we have? We have hello administrator. I want to change the password for the developer account, username, and a password. Now that we have credentials, we could try connecting to FTP as developer. And put in the password, and we're logged in. So if we look in here, we see a directory called dev. We move into dev, and we look what's in here. We see the index.php and the team PHP page. So we may be able to upload a reverse shell. So if we just copy user share laudanum, PHP reverse shell, to php.php, go in and edit it, add an RIP, save that. we could probably put php.php, head over to Firefox, go to php.php, and it's not found. So if we look in here, we do see php.php, which is interesting. Put the file again, transfer complete, file's definitely there, and it's not found. So it's possible that what's happening here is there is some kind of, like this is a development folder since it said dev, and this may be under some other host. So what we can do is just open up a new pane and we'll look for a virtual host that this could be under, and we'll just do ffuf-u http sneakycorp.htb -h, and the host is going to be fuzz.sneakycorp.htb, and the word list we'll use is out of sec lists, and we'll do discovery DNS, subdomains top 1,000,000, 5,000, and we'll go ahead and filter out 185 since that's what everything is coming back as. And we see there is a dev. So if we go in and we try to add this to our host, and save this, come back over to our FTP, see if the file's still there. It's not there anymore. So we will put php.php, and we'll try going to dev. And we see the file, so it's working. So now we can just set up our listener. On 1, 2, 3, 4. Reload this. It got deleted again. Come over here, put it back, reload this, and we get a connection back. So it looks like we're on the box. Go ahead and clean up our shell. There we go. Can't run clear, export term, screen. There we go. Okay, so if we go into var, and we go into www, we see we have dev, PyPy, and SneakyCorp. So if we just add PyPy into our hosts, and we go to pypy.sneakycorp.htb, it just takes us to the regular page. But from earlier in our nmap scan, we had port 8080 open, so we could just try port 8080 on SneakyCorp, on pypy.sneakycorp.htb port 8080, and we see welcome to PyPy server. So that email that we saw, let's look at it. Hello, Lo. Your current task is to install, test, and then erase every Python module you find in our PyPy service. Let me know if you have any inconvenience. So if we look in pypy.sneakycorp.htb, and actually I'm going to Control-Z, stty raw minus echo, type fg, hit enter twice. There we go. We have an HT password file, so if we look at it, looks like we have a password for PyPy. So we can try to crack this. And we can just pass it to John. So we'll just do John PyPy, and our word list is user share word lists, rocky.txt. And John show PyPy hash it's cracked. So we can save this as PyPy credentials. And looking in here, it looks like we have some packages, but we can't actually go into them. But if we went to home, we can see Low is a user. And if we go into Low's home directory, we cannot read user.txt or www.data. But there is an SSH directory. So we might be able to deploy a Python package and hope that Low does something automatically with it. And so what we can do for that is just go grab a sample Python package. And we can just download it. And we'll move our downloads, Python, unzip it. And we'll go into it. And if we look at the setup.py, if he's automatically installing these, it will run this. And we can see how it opens README and it reads in the README file and makes that the description. So if we just set a description, because we're not going to worry about this, long description, hello, and we can open a file in his home directory if it runs us in, and home low.ssh, and we can add authorized keys by appending to it. And we can do fh.write SSH key and fh.close. And we can name this something a little bit better. We'll call it shell. Don't think we want to exclude anything. And so now what we need to do is generate an SSH key. So we can SSH keygen, and we'll call it low, no passphrase, grab the public key, and we'll store this as SSH key. There we go. So now it'll open and append this to the file, then close it. And now what we need to do is set up our PyPyRC. Maybe we could look at PyPy server, since that's what's running, upload packages remotely. Perfect. So it looks like there's Apache-like authentication with H2 password, which we have. We've already created this because we have it. So it looks like you set up PyPyRC and define dist utils. So if we did, let's just kind of copy this and modify it. So if we vim our PyPyRC, and in here we say our index server is PyPy, and then we define PyPy and the repository there we go, is going to be HTTP the depth PyPy.Sneakymailer. here we go. We'll just copy it. And our username was PyPy. And if we look at PyPy credentials, you can grab the password, Howie. There we go, and then we don't need this one. We go into our sample package. And then looking at the docs, we can python setup.py, upload -r, and then the name of our definition, which was PyPy. And we get an error. So we can go into setup, and we can do a try. Actually, I'll do it down here. Try. And exception as E. Pass. Or should this be try? Accept. Perfect. Save that. Try running again. It looks like it's trying to submit it. Okay, so this is taking quite a while, so what I'm going to do is cancel this, and we're going to go in and kind of get rid of a lot of this stuff that may be unnecessary. On sample, go into setup, we'll check everything. URL, I'm not sure if it needs this, so we can just kind of put in, we'll just put in RIP 10.10.14.18. There we go. That should be okay. We'll do that, and then we'll touch it. Touch Keegan, and then we'll try doing this again, see if it's any faster. Oh yeah, okay, so that went like immediately that time. Okay, so now what we can do is back over here on our shell, we can see if this is, it's now non-zero. So if we look at it, we can see that it definitely wrote our key. So now we can SSH with our key low at 10.10.10.197. And now we have user.text. Okay, so for privask on this one, we just sudo -l. And we can see that we can run sudo user bin pip3. So if we head over to gtfobins.github.io, and just Control F for pip3, or pip, there we go. And scroll down to the sudo section, and we see that pretty much it just makes a temp directory, throws the shell in there into a setup, and then installs it. So we can just paste that in. Come back here, make this pip3, sudo user bin pip3. And when it finishes up, who am I and hostname. root at Sneakymailer, grab the flag, and we've got root on the box. So that's pretty much it. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next week.